hip muscle-ups aren't the devil. You know what I mean? Like the press, the planche press, handstand press. That's gotta be a quote, and it fucking hell, where do I come out with this stuff? And I hope my hoodie hasn't been rubbing against the mic the entire time I've been talking. Yo, what's going on, guys? Rhys here from More Than Lifting with the More Than Lifting podcast. Conversations about calisthenics, bodyweight training, gymnastics, all that good stuff. I'm Rhys, a personal trainer from the UK and founder of morethanlifting.com, and in this episode we're going to be talking about false grip. Okay, what on earth is false grip? Why does it matter? And how can you use it in your training to your advantage? Okay, and you've probably heard people talk about false grip a bit, and unless you've had someone actually explain it to you, you probably don't know what it even is. So false grip, it is really important. We're going to get into it. I'm going to talk to you about all that kind of cool bits, give you loads of tips for it, and yeah, but first, I've realised recently I've been learning quite a lot of skills. Okay, so I've been going through this skill cycle, but I'm kind of overdoing it a bit, I think. I've got one arm elbow lever, the one arm crow stand, I've got these, the hollow back, one arm handstand, and like 90-degree push up, this planche press. Suddenly it's like 6 skills I'm trying to learn, and I've realised it's time to consolidate these skills into like 1 or 2, all right? And it's important because I just don't have time for all that training. You know, it just doesn't happen, okay? And it's better to be focusing on one thing and getting results with it than trying to spread yourself all over the place and never achieve anything, okay? It's really important, actually. It's something that I teach it so much, and yet I still let myself go, well, I can handle it. Truth is, I can't. No one really can, unless there's not a lot of training you need to do for them. But maybe my one-arm handstand might just come along naturally over the next couple of weeks, and the same with the one-arm elbow lever, if I continue just to keep pushing and doing them. But it might not, you know, and it might take a lot of dedicated training. You know, I might need to get up every day and do 10 one-arm handstands, you know, like grease the groove it, you know what I mean? Every hour try a one-arm handstand, or every 2 hours or something. But I don't really have time for all that at the minute, and I can't do that with 6 skills because that's just outrageous. I'd just be so I need to try and pick which ones actually matter a lot. And so basically I need to cut a lot of these skills out, and it's cool. I can still like train them a bit, you know, but what's actually important to me right now? You know, what do I really want to achieve? And 90-degree push-ups, that's important. I've got to do that, you know, because that's okay. So it's the end of the year, but you know, we're on like our 5th month, you know, so we are getting on. We're getting on in this year, and a 90-degree push-up is one thing, but 20 of them, that's a lot. Like, so it's a big goal. I've got to think about that. So that's probably my big priority. Then the next one, I think the next one is the planche press, because although they're very, very similar, they're quite different exercises as well. And although I don't need to do that for reps, it's kind of complementary. Plus, it'll help me improve my planche just in general. And I'm also almost there. So that's like a bit more strength training, like focused on that. You know, a couple more 100 reps, maybe a couple more fail videos, and then I'll be able to do it. Like, it's only the negative press I'm after at the minute. I don't need to worry about going back up, you know, because that's a way off. At the minute, I can come down into an elbow lever, I can't go all the way back up. So a 90-degree push-up, that's a reasonable goal. But thinking of doing planche press, a planche press for reps, like that's I don't need to do that right now. So that can go on the back burner. The same with a one-arm crow, like that can go on the back burner as well, because that's the one I'm training the least, you know, realistically. That one-arm elbow lever, I don't know if you've seen the most recent Instagram post on that when I was training it at gymnastics with Ben, but that's difficult because in the video it looks like I'm really far off. I thought I was pretty close to it, but you know, I think there are some, like if I just twist a little bit and if I bend around my elbow more to get it more under my body, I think that could be quite achievable soon. So maybe that'll stay in, but I'm more interested in a one-arm handstand and a one-arm not a one arm, and a hollow back. Yeah, so the hollow back's more important really. One arm handstand's just good for practice. I can just do that loads of practice, and I don't need to worry about it being a priority. It's more those two strength ones, you know, that 90-degree push-up and the planche press. They're more important. Really, I shouldn't be worrying about the planche press. I should be worrying about planche push-ups, you know, because they're actually coming up too eventually, and I need to be working on them. But anyway, we won't worry about that. We'll worry about that next week in the next episode of the podcast or something like that. Bloody hell, it's been 6 minutes already. Okay, so I kind of went off on a tangent there talking about skills, but in this episode we're going to be talking about false grip. So what is it? Basically, it's an overhand grip. Okay, what that means. So it's an overhand grip. Okay, and what you do is if you set up for your pull-up as normal, and you just go up to grab your bar, your palms are facing forwards towards the bar in like the same direction as your eyes, you know, so in front of you. Okay, and then what you do is you just turn your hands so that your palms are pointing down. They're on top of the bar, pointing down towards the ground, yeah? And then you grip round with your fingers, okay? And that's it, really. The next thing actually is quite important, and a lot of people don't do this. I didn't do it for ages when I started until I learned why it's important, and it just results tripled. You know what I mean? Just my false grip just improved so much immediately. And that's having your thumbs behind the bar. Yeah, so a lot of the temptation when you're on a bar is that because your hands are over, your thumbs just sit over with you going in the same direction as your fingers, but you're much better off having your thumbs going the other way around the bar. And I wouldn't recommend having them trying to get underneath the bar, but just staying behind the bar. That way you can grip the bar a lot better with your thumbs. Your opposing digits grab hold of the bar nicely, and that activates your forearms much better. Okay, so you can use a lot of that extra muscle power that you would otherwise just not be using because your thumbs wouldn't be doing anything, they'd just be holding over the top. It doesn't really help activate that muscle in your forearms. So what you do is you have your thumbs behind the bar, because then you can activate all that extra musculature, have much better control over your forearms, and use that bonus strength. It's all about bonus strength because it helps you do cool shit. That's gotta be a quote, and it fucking hell, where do I come out with this stuff? So right, so that is what it is. Okay, your palms are on top of the bar, your fingers going round, and your thumbs behind it, nice and straight, good for gripping. Okay, false grip, ta-da. On the rings, it's going to be slightly different, okay, and that's because the rings obviously go round, so your thumbs can actually kind of get round a little bit. And what you'll find is that the bar doesn't go directly across your palms like you'd expect, like right across the back of your knuckles. Instead, it goes from between your index finger and your thumb directly down diagonally towards the opposing corner of your wrist. Okay, and this is important because you're going to get a lot of wear and a lot of rubbing and friction around that your kind of inside corner of your hand. I don't really know how best to describe this. It's like the opposite part of your hand to your thumb, you know what I mean? So there you go. So it's going diagonally across your palm rather than straight across your palm, like across your knuckles, like you would expect for a regular kind of neutral grip for a pull-up, or just any time you go and grab a bar for your pull, your hanging exercises. You know, you just kind of have your palms facing forward rather than on top of the bar facing down. Okay, and that's just helps you set up for it nicely so that you're ready to grip it comfortably. And okay, it's not very comfortable, and you will definitely wear, definitely burn and bruise and all sorts to that little inside part of your wrist, but hey, that's what it takes to learn cool shit, so you got to suffer for your art. And I hope my hoodie hasn't been rubbing against the mic the entire time I've been talking. We'll find out post-edit. So what is it for? Bloody hell. So what is the false grip actually used for? Because you got your other grips for everything else, so where does it actually come into play? The main one is muscle ups. Okay, it's definitely, you need your false grip for muscle ups. You see a lot of people who don't use false grip for muscle ups, and they like twist their hands around the bar. So for them to be able to do that, they're either insanely strong or they're kipping. And I'm not calling anyone out, it's just the reality of it. You're either strong at all the bar bends, and if the bar's turning into things, then I mean, you definitely do it like that because it'd be easier. But because you wouldn't put all that pressure and rub it, you wouldn't get all those problems with your wrists if you had it like that. You could just turn the bar as you went up and just kind of turn your wrists into it. And okay, that would take some strength and control, but you could definitely do it if you can muscle up. Yeah, so muscle ups is really important for, but also the front lever is a good one for the front lever, and I'll tell you why shortly. And also other hanging exercises. So not necessarily all of them, and not all the time, but things like your hanging leg raises, definitely false grip them. If you're not false gripping them, then you're making it hard for yourself. And the same with like wipers and simple lever style variations and stuff like that, you know, that kind of thing. There's hanging half levers or German hangs. If you're setting up for a German hang, start in a false grip, especially if you're doing them for reps. Just things like that. It's good practice just to get into. Okay, and so I know what you're all asking. Why? All right, Rhys, why on earth are you telling me this false grip's important? There are three real reasons, okay, but the main one and the most obvious one, and probably the reason it was, you know, imagined in the first place, is dips, okay? Because in a muscle up, you're doing a dip. You're doing a pull up and a dip. So if your palms aren't on top of the bar or the rings, then you can't do a dip, because your palms will be around the other way, and you just won't be able to be on top of the bar. You'll twist around, you won't be able to get up on top of the bar. So you do have the alternative of kipping with your muscle ups, but that's not, I mean, just do it properly. You know what I mean? That's easy. It's the easy way out. You know, it's kind of cheating, okay? And kip muscle ups aren't the devil, just before I get loads of hate mail about it. But I mean, just try and do your muscle ups properly, you know? So so that's mainly like why they've come about, why false grip is important, because dips. Okay, when you do a dip, your palms are on top of the bar. They're not hanging around the side, either side of it. And if they were, you'd have to have some crazy, insane wrist mobility where you could like fold your fingers all the way so your hands are like touching your forearm or something. This is absolutely insane. So that's why you need it, because your palms need to be on top of the dip. Okay, now there is another advantage of actually doing this false grip, and that is especially with things like your front lever skills. This is good, okay, because because of your wrist mobility, it kind of limits it, but it also helps like activate it a little bit, being in that false grip. So wherever you are right now, because this is just a bit of fun if you're commuting or whatever, unless you're driving, just do this with one hand. What I want you to do is hold your hands up in front of you, so they're facing in front, and you're looking at the back of your hands, okay? And then make fists with your palms, again, just facing, the back of your hands facing you, so your palms are facing forward. And then what we need to do is just turn your wrists so that your palms are now facing down. So you like go from kind of fight the power fists to like motorcycle fists, I guess. And you'll see, right, immediately you'll feel all that tension kind of build up in your forearms as you kind of tense all that muscle. And that's really important. That's really useful, because you can then use all that tension, all that muscle, to help with other exercises, particularly the front lever. So a front lever, imagine this, you're doing a front lever and you're hanging from the bar, and you lever up into your front lever, and you pull up into your front lever, and you're on your fingers. Okay, whereas if you go onto your muscle up, that wrist mobility and that muscle activation helps actually stop you from levering down so much. So it stops you from your shoulders from opening up too much. It helps you really pull that pressure in and pull the bar into your hips. Okay, so it's really, really good for the front lever. Helps you really activate all that forearm muscle and press the bar down into your hips, okay? Because that's what you're doing in the front lever. Yes, you are trying to lever your hips up to the bar, keep yourself horizontal, but like if you're imagining the movement and how you want to kind of picture the movement and how it wants to feel, is that you're not kind of holding your body up, you're pressing the bar down, okay? And that's because you're activating all your shoulders and stuff like that. And that doesn't matter right now, but just trust me, false grip, front levers, great. Okay, thumbs up. So, if you're struggling with your front lever, try it in false grip. Okay, it might be a bit uncomfortable in your wrists at first, but you'll realise how much stronger that is for you. And that's also kind of because you've got more on the bar. And this comes to the third reason why false grip is awesome and why you should definitely start using it in your training, okay? And that is, right, because if you're hanging from the bar for any kind of length of time, you'll notice that your hands slowly slip round until you're dangling by a couple of fingers trying to get rep 8 or 9 or 10 in of your leg raises or even your pull-ups sometimes, you know, especially halfway through a workout when you're hot and sweating and clammy and, you know, the bar's wet because you forgot your chalk, all kinds of stuff like that. So what you need to do is start doing things with the false grip. So if you're doing your hanging leg raises, do your hanging leg raises in false grip because you've got more surface area on the bar to begin with, all right, and there's more time, you've got more bar surface area for your palms and your fingers to kind of slide around before you slip, so you're just on your fingers. So what you're doing is you're maximizing the time you can spend on the bar because you're giving yourself more surface area for the bar to actually hold on to. Okay, and yeah, so that's it. You got more bar to hold on to. Okay, and you might think, no, you don't. You're just holding further round, and yeah, you are. But if you hold further round and then hanging, your hands are slowly going to slide until they're in the perfect position. Yeah, if you start in that position, when you start hanging, your hands are going to slip off straight away, and you're not going to be able to grip the bar with your palms at all, or at least for less time. So that's why that's really good as well. Things like hanging isometrics, hanging levers, hanging wipers, German hangs. You know, German hangs is a good one, especially if you're doing it for reps. Like I say, it gives you that time on the bar, that bar time, and that's really important. Just like with isometric breathing, you don't want your breathing to stop you from doing skills better. You don't want your grip to stop you from doing skills better. Yeah, if your grip is the weak point, you need a better grip. Okay. And that's really it, guys. That's false grip. What it is useful, and why you need to be using it in your training. So just a quick recap: false grip is when you're holding the bar, so your palm on top, so your palms are pointing down towards the ground. Okay, palms down on top of the bar. Yeah, and your thumbs around the back of the bar, tight, activating all the forearms. Okay. What for? Front levers, muscle ups, hanging exercises, stuff like that. And why? Mostly for dips. Your hands need to be on top for you to be able to do dips, but also for cheating with your front lever, for better to make it slightly easier so you can grip the bar better muscle activation, but also a longer hang time for and just general good practice for other hanging exercises like your leg raises. You can hold on to the bar for longer than you can if you just start with your palms on a neutral grip where your palms are just facing forward. All right, that's it for this episode, guys. As always, if you like what you've heard, give us a subscribe, a like, share us with your friends and training partners. If you want to get in contact with me, as always, reach out to me, probably on Instagram's best, @MorganLifting, @MorganLifting everywhere, but Instagram's definitely the best. Yeah, if you want to take your training to the next level, give me a shout. We can talk about coaching, or jump on the 12-week mastery program, which takes you from zero to bodyweight athlete in 3 months of absolute madness, and it is madness, so there's nothing easy about it. Yeah, and otherwise, guys, I'll catch you in the next couple of days of the next episode. Keep in touch with yourselves, and see you later.